very bittersweet. Finally have finished Cities of the Plain. So I've read the Border Trilogy. Oh man, the ending was just so sad. So no spoilers for any of these books. I highly recommend. So for the last few years, I've been doing a Cormac McCarthy read through where I'm trying to read all of his books in publication order. I've made it all the way up to, there's only 3 books left that I haven't read from him. The only one I had ever read was The Road, and I've reread The Road. For some reason, it was just on my mind, so I skipped ahead and reread it. But Cities of the Plain. So all I've got left is No Country for Old Men, and then his 2 newest books, The Passenger and Stella Maris. So just eagerly anticipating those 2 new books, but at the same time, trying to go slow, enjoy it, take my time. These are tough books, not like Malazan tough where you just don't know what's going on a lot of the time. It's tough in that I feel like I gotta go slow or I'm not getting the most out of it because he just has some really deep thoughts. There will just be 50 pages of just crazy, just deep philosophical ideas that just make you go, man, I gotta read that again. Definitely, once I read all these, I will go reread them again. I think I'll get so much more value on a reread for a lot of these. So the first book in the trilogy was All the Pretty Horses. This is the one most people will probably have heard of. I think this was my favorite book of the trilogy, but it's hard to say. Again, a reread might prove differently. It was just so beautiful. The opening line is just so good. I really like the character of John Grady Cole, who we follow in the first book. The second book, The Crossing, follows a completely different character, Billy Parham, and he's just much different. They have a lot of similarities, but they have just enough differences that really make them stand out from each other. And The Crossing was obviously a lot longer than All the Pretty Horses, so it's the longest of the 3 books. So we spent a lot of time with Billy. And then when you get to Cities of the Plain, you've got John Grady Cole and Billy Parham together. They are working together on the same ranch. And yeah, Billy falls in love with a woman who he can't be with for reasons. And the novel just goes crazy from there. It's all about John. Did I say Billy? I meant John. John just trying to find a way to be with this woman. And it is, I finished reading it and I just sat there just heartbroken, just so sad. And it's just one of those like hauntingly beautiful books, which I love. I love that. I love when an author can make something so sad but so beautiful. That's kind of how life is a lot of times, right? So highly recommend the trilogy. If you read All the Pretty Horses and don't like it, then, you know, I wouldn't continue. But I don't see how you wouldn't like it. Just slow down, read it. Just be aware there's a lot of Spanish. There's a lot of Espanol. They are on the border. That's why it's called the Border Trilogy. So there's a lot of them going to Mexico or just being near the border, and John and Billy are both fluent in Spanish. And man, I wish I was, because it's a beautiful language. I'm trying to learn. I didn't look up anything as I was reading. I just read the Spanish. I got a lot of it, but there's definitely some things I didn't know what was going on because it's in Spanish. I think there's probably a guide on the internet where it'll translate the passages for you if you really care. I just wanted to kind of immerse myself in it and see if I could figure it out. For the most part, you can kind of tell what's going on. Every once in a while, I was a little stumped, but I actually learned quite a bit just from reading this about McCarthy. I guess McCarthy was fluent in Spanish as well, and started in Blood Meridian, where he would put a lot of Spanish in there, and moved into this. So very interesting, very cool. I feel like a hole in me, you know, when you finish a trilogy like this. I feel just empty inside. It's not like it ended on a positive note where I have things to reflect on positively. It's very, very dark, very sad, very brutal. But yeah, I mean, Cormac was, you know, one of the best writers ever, really. So, put these back up here where they go. So yeah, that just means next up, I just have No Country for Old Men. So really excited to get to this. It looks really short, so I can probably read this in just a few days. But I tend to take my time, and it'll take me like a solid week to read this. But after that, it's just the hardcovers. Man, going through and rereading is going to be such a benefit. I think anytime you can reread a book, you always get more out of it. So I'm reading a lot of stuff right now, in the middle of a few novels. I always have an audiobook going. The audiobook, I'll throw it up here, is Christopher Rocchio, The Sun Eater. I can't remember what the first book is called. Empire of the Sun or something. It's really good so far. The audiobook is like 26 hours, and I'm at like hour number 20. I'm like 6 hours in, so it's really good so far. And it's one of those series that I keep hearing just gets better and better and better as you go, so I'm excited to get into that more. I'm reading all kinds of stuff. I won't grab all that. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.